My family had Christmas dinner around noon last year. It was a marvelous feast, and we all gorged ourselves, as is the annual tradition. After we had all successfully stuffed our faces, everyone collapsed in the living room, filling up all the couches and chairs. Just as laziness was really starting to set in, someone put on one of those Yule log programs they play every year. It was kind of nice, sitting around the fire, chatting and drifting in and out of dreamland. The fireplace was popping with little merry crackles and flickering between shades of yellow and red. The air was scented heavily with that lovely pine smell that comes indoors along with a real Christmas tree. Life was feeling pretty festive. Until the crying began. First we thought it was one of the kids upstairs, so my stepsister got up to check it out. Meanwhile, the rest of us sat around the living room waiting for the crying to stop. It didn't stop. It got louder. My stepsister reappeared, looking completely perplexed. The kids were fine, playing quietly in their own room. A pleading mumbling joined the whimpers, and we all kind of just looked around, not really sure what to think. The words became increasingly clearer as the minutes passed. "Please, no, don't hurt me." Meanwhile, the fireplace was still popping happily. Someone, one of my cousins, I guess, turned off the sound, and the crying stopped. We all assumed that the joke was over. We could just go back to being lazy. Except that's when the volume on the TV came back up again, and the screams were louder. There were two distinct voices. A screaming woman with a high, girlish sound, and a man with a deep voice. He kept saying weird things like, "You've been really naughty for Santa," and "Ho, ho, ho, I've got a present for you." Each time the man spoke, his words were punctured with loud slaps and whips. The girls' cries echoed through my stepdad's new surround system. "Turn it off. This is sick." My mom was the first one to suggest the obvious. Whatever was happening outside of the view of the camera, it had nothing to do with Christmas joy or good tidings. That creepy feeling had settled in the pit of my stomach. It was like a train wreck. I was in denial, but for the first time in my life, truly riveted to a screen with a burning log. A few people got up and left the room. One of my younger cousins added to the ambiance by barfing up his meal in the bathroom. But then there were the rest of us, unable to look away from that cheerful little fireplace. The scenery never changed, even as the violence off screen got louder and louder, and then even more terrifyingly quieter and quieter until the last soft gurgle could be heard. We listened to the sound of boots crossing a wooden floor, and then watched in awe as a blood-soaked poker prodded the dying embers of the fire. The fire brightened in response and went back to burning quietly. A little while after, my stepdad got off the phone with the cable company. He was pretty mad about the whole experience. After all, the adults felt completely sullied, and if the kids had been around, it would have totally altered their view of Christmas. Of course, the company denied it, and from what I've seen around the internet, no one else had the same experience. So, I don't know what to think. At least we won't be forced to watch that lame Yule log burning next year. Kind of goes without saying that we'll never have that on the TV again.